dating around the time when I found out that there are women out here who are giving their boyfriends their work check.
Who the fuck is doing that? Explain yourself. Show yourself and explain yourself. Get up. Who? Someone in the comments said, every time I think the bar's in hell, there's a woman trying to prove it goes lower. Who is doing this?
And when women start to speak up, then they start saying stupid things like, well, women do it too. Women do it too. So you want us to stop speaking up about the 99.9% of your group species that exhibits these same type of behaviors or similar behaviors, and to then redirect to the less than 1% of women that have learned these behaviors from your group, from males, right? And are now exhibiting those behaviors because they learned it from you. The less than 1% out of the 100% of women. You want us to focus on that so as to not focus on the fact that 99.999% of your species is deplorable in nature. Make it make sense.
I think I say these words, but I feel a bit sorry for Pearl. Not for the reasons you think, though, so let me explain. So by now, you must have heard the story that's going around social media of this influencer, this guy, Garnett or Garrett, whatever, I haven't learned his name, saying that the reason why Pearl is not in a relationship or not with anybody is because she's unattractive. And it's been doing its rounds on social media. You guys can go and check out that. I feel sorry for Pearl because she has swallowed the patriarchal red pill Kool-Aid, and she is going to be the one that suffers. Pearl has grown her following saying controversial and derogatory things about women. Wild statements. I won't even repeat them because you already know that she says wild things. However, I feel sorry for Pearl because the fact that she's not going to be chosen by these red pill guys who are talking about her not being attractive, who are making jokes about her, is going to undo everything that she's done. Imagine your life purpose has been to be controversial, has been to spew this nonsense about women and about women's roles and male roles and all the nonsense that she says. And imagine that's what you have decided to make your life's purpose, only for the men that you defend to come onto the same apps that you're using and to say, actually, she's not even attractive, which is why she remains available, although she agrees with everything that we're saying, although she supports us in what we say and what we do, even though it's detrimental to women. She's not attractive. She's not the woman that we want. This is going to be the undoing of Pearl. It's going to be the undoing of her followership, because actually, if she's followed by women who are so-called pick-me's, they are going to see that actually what she's doing doesn't work and doesn't actually lead to you being picked, which goes against the whole point. So essentially, I feel sorry for Pearl because the hill that she has chosen to die on, actually has no interest in her at all, and probably just wants her to die and wouldn't really care.
Your assessment is correct, but I will never feel sorry for Pearl. Heck no. Those are the pick-me-shas that I talked about. You gonna stay over there? Don't come over here? No, never. As soon as you utter stupidity that comes out of your mouth and you continue to go back to a Dusty that's putting hands on you, or you continue to go back to a Dusty and giving him your picture, don't come here. Do not come here. Don't come here. Stay with what you've chosen. Pearl should have picked the bear. You listen. Girl, yeah, girl. Should have picked the bear. Pick the most below bare minimum species out there on literally out on planet Earth. You pick the most below bare minimum species on planet Earth. Be so for real. The patriarchy is losing game, even for Pearl. Is a losing game, even for I don't know what these women are thinking. These women that are like, oh my God, I just have to get married. I just don't even know what they're thinking. It's like, why would you put yourself through that? It doesn't even make sense, But don't come here though. Do what you want, but don't come back here. The picked on pipeline, right? Oh, I remember someone put out a video saying that they think Pearl is in the closet, and low key, she probably is. Pearl is a character she created to make money that got way out of hand. Right? Bro, ridiculous.
The 4B movement is literally women taking accountability. Like literally. We've been hearing for the longest time that women need to take accountability. We choose Pookies and Ray Rays. We are ran through. We are having outside babies or babies out of wedlock. We're causing all the disruption in men's lives. We don't have anything else to offer. We don't bring anything to the table. I feel like 4B is the number one way for a woman to take accountability. Because see, now we're not picking Pookies and Ray Rays. We're not dating because we don't know how to pick right. So I'm like, oh my God, I keep picking all these Pookies and Ray Rays. What am I going to do? I got to work on myself. So I need to be single and work on myself so that I don't pick Pookies and Ray Rays. So no dating, right? Nobody wants to marry us, right? We're all ugly. No man wants us. So we don't have to worry about the marriage aspect. So we won't be getting married. I don't want to be blamed for being a single mother and raising kids in single mother households without a father. So I won't be giving birth to anybody's kids, right? And we're closing up shop. So we're not having sex with anybody. What more do you guys want? I was on West 4B with Supreme in her panel yesterday. I go on her panel a lot, actually, and we were all talking about how we make men so miserable. They complain about everything that we do. If the sun comes up, that's women's fault. If the birds come by and shit on your car hood or your car windshield, that's the women's fault. Everything is our fault. Y'all blame us for everything. So we're not going to engage anymore. No dating. No smecks, no children, no marriage. What's the problem? There is no more accountability that a woman can possibly take than to take herself out of the equation altogether. And y'all are still complaining. We're ran through. We're picking Pookies and Ray Rays. We're useless. We don't bring anything to the table. Blah, 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 blah. Whoopty, whoopty, whoop. And it's like, okay, we're out of the mix. But y'all still can't leave us alone because you're still coming on our panels. The vast majority, if there were like 100 men that came on her panel, like 99 of them were married. Why are y'all doing this? Like, I don't get it. You're still bothering us. The West 4B is stupid. It's not going to work. Y'all are only in it because y'all all ugly and don't nobody want y'all. Okay, why do y'all still come to our spaces? We're taking the accountability that y'all said we need to be taken. What more do y'all want? We're literally taking accountability. What more can we do than to join the 4B movement?
Hey, hola, hola, ¿cómo están? Hi, my loves. How are you doing today? So I'm back with another video, okay? So you know what? All right, so the male species, what do I say about this group of Neanderthals, right? Like, it's like there's nothing, ladies, what I need you to understand is that there's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing that you have to do, period. The species and the group of people, they're kind. I don't like saying they're kind. Really saying the male species is actually the nicest way that I am able to come up with how to describe this group of whatever they want to call themselves, right? The male group, right? So there's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing that you need to change. There's nothing that you could have ever changed. There's nothing that you could have ever done. That's the point. That's where this whole 4B movement came from. What woman puts up with this? Like, I can't even fathom it, right? But the interesting part is they don't leave us alone because they can't. They're incapable of doing that, right? So I fundamentally believe that what is already happening and what we need to continue to push for is a more stern, stark separation between males and women. There has to be a healthier separation in place. The separation that we currently have, it's just not healthy. Let me paint this picture for you of how I view the way society is currently set up. All the cute furry animals, little rabbits, low-key rabbits, if you get close enough, not that cute, but like as far as the way that they look, and they are like, rabbits are the number one predators of my yard, but I digress, right? So the little small animals in the midst of these dinosaurs and these other big, it's not fair to compare big animals like dinosaurs. It's not fair to compare them to the male species, because I will say this, I fundamentally believe that the male species is the most deplorable species out there. Like, they are the number one predators of everything. Think about it. Everything. I just posted a video about 4 males that raped a monitor lizard. 4 males literally raped a monitor lizard, right? And there's plenty of other stories like these. So there needs to be a stark separation, right? Societally. It doesn't make sense to have bunnies, rabbits, little cats, like women walking around in the midst of freaking predators. Like, the males are just littered everywhere. They're like, it's gross. If you think about it, it's actually quite gross. Like, the males are everywhere and they could unalive any one of the women at any point in time. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't even make sense. And if we look at history, throughout history, it's never been set up in that way. It has never been, there's always been a stark separation. Here, the women live here, the males live here. Start with the Spartan society. For example, if you want to go all the way back, you can start with Spartans to kind of study what this looks like. That's why we run into so many domestic violence issues. And we all know that 99.999% of domestic violence issues stem from males essaying, raping, unaliving women. Males are the perpetrators. So then how does it make any sense to continue to try to tell women that literally be trapped underneath the same confinement of a male species that's capable of putting hands on them or unaliving them at any point in time? It does not make sense. It does not make sense, y'all. So we need to have cities and build those up to like countries that are just like women dominated. Nothing but women, no males. And what we need to have is these so-called good males, right? We need to put their nature to better use. So those males, really, their primary job should be defending the woman's space, right, from these lower degenerate male species. So the ones that will come into a woman's space and start talking about, well, you're going to die with your cats. Sir, no one even invited you here. The heck are you doing here? You're not a woman. Why are you here? It blows my mind, y'all. So we need more stern separation. We need healthier separations between genders. This is what I believe. Absolutely. Because we can already see what's happening without these separations in place. And if you're a woman that you just insist upon yourself, you want to be around the males, you want to be in that environment, then you get to choose. But once you go in there, you're not going to be let back in, because, one bad fruit will bring along with it all of whatever the taintedness, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you insist upon yourself on staying in whatever that is, like, you're not going to be able to come back in here. Unless maybe over time we can put together some type of program, like a rehabilitation program, because that's literally what you'll need. You will need that. By the time the male species gets done with you, you will need to be rehabilitated. That's why you hear, especially women, saying, oh, I've been doing the 4B for years. What does that mean? They haven't been sleeping with males. They probably haven't been dating no males. They haven't really been talking to males. All of this is somewhat like a rehabilitation process. By the time they beat you down, insult you, put hands on you, you will need to be rehabilitated. Otherwise, you're going to bring that patriarchal mindset and you're going to threaten the construct, the woman's construct and safety. Does that make sense? So this is what needs to happen. So the question is, how do we get to this point? The separation, I believe the way that the separation is going to happen is how it's been happening, right? More and more women just choosing themselves, right? More and more women choosing, no, I'm not going to give birth to no kids. That's dumb. It's literally stupid, right? It's like the prices nowadays of raising a child, and then on top of that, you have to deal with a Dusty that's bringing nothing to the table, can't even pay 100% of the bills. And then on top of that, you're slaving away emotionally in the kitchen, cleaning. And then on top of that, you're having to put up with insults to your own intelligence, insults to your own emotions. Well, you're not good enough. Well, why isn't this done? Why isn't that done? Why would I do that for a subpar species? It doesn't even make sense. So more and more women are like, this is stupid. This is so dumb. I am thoroughly unhappy. The male species is making my life miserable. So what happens? Well, what happens is most women choose to go without interacting with the male species. And what makes the situation worse for the males is that when women make that choice and they stick to it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, they start focusing on themselves. They start reconnecting with their spirituality. They start reconnecting with nature. What really, really sucks for the males and makes it worse is that there's no going back. The woman will not go back to what is you. She won't want to go back because she'll be like, wait a second. So what was I doing that whole time? I was suffering for no reason. This is so much more peaceful. This is so much nicer. This is so much more safe. So this is how it starts. More and more women no longer speaking to males, more and more women no longer dating them, more and more women no longer even being friends with them. Because I got to tell you, 99.99% of them, total creeps. They are so freaking creepy. Like, imagine waiting like 8-9 years, because this happens so often, 8-9 years saying that you're this woman's friend. And as soon as you get the opportunity, you're asking her out on dates, you're trying to court her. That's creepy to me. That means that's been your intention this whole time. And that's what you've just been lurking around waiting to do. Super creepy. So you haven't been honest this whole time. So y'all, it's already started happening, right? More women choosing to be in their homes. More women own the homes. Properties are owned mostly by women. And they're making it their space. They don't want no male coming in, disrupting their space and disrupting their peace. And so they're no longer interacting with males. And what ends up happening is, the male species, it's extinction. That's it. They're gone. They're gone. And so over time, because we've had an overpopulation problem for a while, you'll continue to see the numbers dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. We've already started seeing them dwindle from a country to country basis. So all the countries like South Korea, even America is at 1.6, the lowest that it's ever been since we started tracking these numbers. China, 1.2, something deplorable of that nature, 1.1, around there. So these numbers are just going to continue to drop because more and more women are just going to be focusing on themselves. They're not going to want to deal with a male or interact with them because it doesn't make sense to have a bunch of women freely walking around in the midst of quite literal predators.
Just when I thought I had seen it all, I have been tagged in a video where this man is going back and forth with the woman that he's living with because she has been paying all the bills. And he wants to bring in, get this, another woman to do the cooking and the cleaning and to do things with him in the bedroom. He says now that she has her job and that she's making much more money, she has let go of her womanly duties. He contributes $250 per month, while the rent alone is $32.50. And he's like, ever since you got your new job and started making more money, you have stopped doing all the other things you did in the beginning. You don't cook for me. You don't clean for me. I've been eating ramen noodles for a month. The fact that you want her to cook and clean and do all these different things, when does she have time to do that? Making $250 a month, that seems like part-time to me. So you should be the one doing the cooking and the cleaning. Expecting her to do all the household duties and pay all the bills, what does she get out of it? And then you have the nerve to want to bring another woman into the household? You can't even satisfy the one that you got. He wants a woman modern enough to pay all the bills, but traditional enough to take on all the labor. You can't have it both ways.
And we're starting to see that, hey, we can't bring children into this environment. It would not make sense. It would actually be cruel. It would be cruel. Imagine bringing a child into this environment. That's cruelty. What if he's a guy? Then he becomes one of you. Absolutely not. What if it's a woman? Now she has to put up with what I'm having to put up with and suffer through. Absolutely not. So women are starting to think about their children before actually having them. And that presents a very, very, very big problem for males. But that's their problem, not ours. So the separation is already started. And so what's going to continue to happen is women are going to continue to build groups around each other, companionships around each other. And we're just going to need any and every protection possible from males. We already need that. But we're going to start enforcing it more and more. And so the males are just going to be dying off more and more. And they're going to die off quicker because we already know they don't even mind having sex with lizards. So, all these diseases and things that they're going to contract from sleeping with each other and lizards and monkeys, because there's reports that have come out of males doing that as well. Their group is going to die off quicker. That's it. That's what's going to happen. And they will take Pygmesia with them. There's no other way, because Pygmesia will stay there, right? Will stay and stay and stay, and they will suck the living life out of Pygmesia. Look up the statistics on it. Married women live less longer and are far unhappier than single women. Married males live a lot longer and are happier than single males. They will die off far before we do. And that's what needs to happen, because they can't keep each other accountable, right? So the ones that are such and such, so and so called good, so and so called strong, refuse to keep the rest of their species under control. So therefore, we'll have to do it just using nature, just by nature. They will naturally die out. That's it. They are literally predators. We've now heard about Drake. Drake is over here, presumably messing around and is saying 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. He did it on stage. They have videos circulating around where he was kissing a 13-year-old's neck. He was saying things like, "Oh wow, where did that body come from?" You know, because she told him his age on stage, y'all. On stage. So it's either the stark separation or all these dudes continue to go extinct, period. Because both are already happening. Just take a look at the birth rates. Both are already happening. This patriarchy that they've constructed doesn't even work. The prices of everything are going up. The countries are now starting to be at war. It's a mess, y'all. So anyways, let's continue to take a look, see what others have to say about this.
Knows that you are too good for him, like deep down he really knows, he will self-sabotage. What do I mean? If there's one thing that men hate, it's feeling inferior. And if he knows, like deep in his bones, that you are too good for him, not in a cute romantic, like he knows he outkicked his coverage, you're so amazing, like not like that. Like if he really knows deep down in his bones that he cannot hang, he just doesn't have it in him, like you are legitimately too good for him, you're too kind, you're too successful, you're too good for this man, he will do one of two things. He will either self-sabotage or he will try to bring you down with him. It doesn't matter how much you try to change him. I have been there, or lift him up, or make him think he's good enough and he's on his level. If he knows deep down, even if it's in his subconscious, that he is not good enough for you, he will ruin it. Lesson here, ladies, is stay in your league and play in your league.
You need a barrier, block them. You need a barrier between you and the dust from getting into your eyes. So number one, a pair of shades, dark lenses. That's my blockers, dust blockers. A snooty top with a high collar suggests that you're better than them. So you have a top on like this, with some extra stuff on it, makes like y'all fancy. Like, I'm too good for them. Next, you need a beret. It screams, you cannot take me to Applebee's. This is my casual. This is not what I'm even wearing on a date. This is how I go to CVS. So, this is how you run errands. This is how you keep dusties away. You wear stuff that allows them to think twice before approaching you.